Nice weather. In fact, Carbon County getting a nice little show yesterday morning. This was sent in by Kobe Prettyman. And you know what? There's some beautiful, beautiful sunrises and sunsets all across the state, but sometimes eastern and southern Utah really gets those game winners. So, hey, we're closing out the month of May. Today is the last day. We'll finish the day in the 70s most likely. So this is what we typically expect. We usually do about one day in the 90s, 7 days in the 80s. A lot of our time spent in the 70s and 60s as we warm up into a more summer-like conditions by June 1st. But precipitation about 1.82. And we do average, believe it or not, about 1/10 of an inch of snow. So this is what we did. We did not see any 90s. So it was on the cooler side. 80s, we did 5 days, 14 days in the 70s, half of the month in the sweet spot, 7 days in the 60s, and we did about 5 days in the 50s. Precipitation, about 80%. Okay, we'll take it. And about a trace of snow. So not just quite yet that 1/10 of an inch of snow, but we did have some cold storms to start out the month. All right, low pressure to the north in Canada, high pressure off the California coast. That high is going to battle for ground over the western United States, but it's not going to completely win over just yet until late next week. So you notice storm zone putting up a couple of showers in the south central mountains today. We'll do it again potentially tomorrow, but in the Uintas and maybe even some of the mountains that line the Wyoming border. Here's a look at Sunday. We're going to go partly cloudy skies, but a bit cooler. So really, it's sunshine with a couple of clouds coming and going. You go for low 80s generally in central Utah, upper 90s in St. George, 91 in Moab, 70s for the high mountain valleys. Southern Idaho's in the 60s, but look at the 70s all over the map here. From north to south for the Wasatch Front, it's going to be another great May day to close out the month. Upper 90s generally for St. George over the weekend. Then we're going to climb as high pressure takes control Wednesday, Thursday. Wasatch Front, 78 to 87, down to 83, ping-ponging back to 89 on Monday. That's where we could see a 90, but better chances for 90-degree days as we close out next week, guys.
Well, after a tornado